There is a virus that has taken more than 30 million lives, one of the most feared in modern history. And yet a small number of people can be exposed to it again and again and never catch it at all. Their blood simply turns it away. For years, no one understood why. This is 1 in a billion. Every week, one extraordinary mutation, the science behind it, the people who carry it, and the price that comes with it. Today, the gene that locks a deadly virus out of the human body and the ancient mystery it left behind. D.N.A. says otherwise. We tend to think of a serious virus as something no one can truly escape. If it reaches you, it gets in. That is what makes it frightening. For most of human history, against this particular virus, that fear was justified. There was no natural shield. No one was supposed to be safe. But there is a small group of people, found mostly across parts of Europe and the lands around it, whose bodies carry a hidden lock. The virus arrives, tries to break in, and finds the door sealed shut. It cannot get a grip. It cannot take hold. These people walk through exposures that would infect almost anyone else, and they remain untouched. For a long time, this was a whispered medical puzzle. Doctors noticed that a handful of people, despite repeated exposure, never became ill. It made no sense. They were not more careful than anyone else. They were not luckier. Something about their bodies was different at a level no one could yet see. To understand what was happening, you have to understand how this virus breaks in. It does not smash through the wall of a cell. It is far more clever than that. It uses a kind of handle on the outside of certain cells, a doorknob the cell uses for its own ordinary purposes. The virus grabs that handle, turns it, and lets itself inside. Without the handle, it is stranded on the doorstep, unable to enter. Now imagine a person born with that handle missing. So, before we go further, I want you to weigh a real scientific argument, because experts genuinely disagree about it. A protective change like this does not appear in so many people by chance. Something in the distant past must have favored it. Some ancient threat so deadly that the people carrying this locked door survived while others did not. One group of scientists believes the culprit was a great plague that swept the old world. Another believes it was a different killer entirely, a pox that scarred history for centuries. Which side are you on? Decide now, before the answer comes. Write it in the comments. The plague or the pox? Hold on to your choice, because the answer is not as settled as either side would like. For years, the protection was visible but unexplained. You could see that these people did not fall ill. But the reason was buried in the body's own instructions, in a place no microscope could reach. Then science learned to read those instructions directly. Researchers studied the rare individuals who resisted the virus, and they compared their body's instruction manual against the manuals of people who could be infected. They went looking for the one line that did not match. D.N.A. says otherwise. The answer came down to a single gene, one scientists call CCR5. This gene builds that very handle on the surface of the cell, the doorknob the virus needs to get inside. In most people, the handle is built normally, and the virus can use it. But in these rare individuals, a small piece of the instructions is missing. The handle comes out malformed, or never appears on the surface at all. And a virus that depends on turning that handle suddenly has nothing to hold. The door is not just locked. The handle was never installed. One small deletion in one gene, and a deadly virus is left stranded outside. And this really is one of the closest things to a true shield that human biology has ever shown us. A body that a feared virus cannot enter. If that sounds like a gift beyond price, you are right to be amazed. But the story carries a twist and a caution. Because the protection is real, but it is not magic, and it is not absolute. It works powerfully against the most common form of this virus, the form that relies on that particular handle. But viruses change. Some rarer forms have learned to use a different doorway entirely, and against those, the lock offers far less. So even this remarkable shield has its limits. It is extraordinary protection, but it is not a guarantee, and honesty matters more here than wonder. And then there is the deeper mystery, the one we asked you about. Why do so many people carry this locked door in the first place? Here, the science is still genuinely divided. For a time, many believed a great medieval plague had done the work, sparing those with the sealed cell and wiping out the rest. But later research raised doubts, suggesting the mutation may be far older than that plague, and pointing instead toward a different ancient disease as the true sculptor. The truth is, we do not yet know for certain. The mutation is a message from a brutal chapter of human history, and we are still arguing over who wrote it. So, if you chose the plague, you stand with one respected camp. And if you chose the POX, you stand with another. Both sides are still making their case, and the evidence has not closed the door on either. Here is why this matters far beyond a lucky few. The moment scientists understood that removing this one handle locks the virus out, they saw a path. If the body can be naturally protected by a missing doorknob, then perhaps medicine could close that same door on purpose in people who were not born with the lock. This single discovery has shaped real treatments and bold experiments aimed at doing exactly that. A rare quirk in a small group of people has become one of the most important clues in the long fight against one of humanity's deadliest viruses. That is the strange gift hidden in this mutation. A handful of people, born with a door the virus cannot open, may hold part of the key to protecting everyone else. One ancient change in human blood still shaping the future of medicine today. Earlier, I asked you to choose the plague or the pox. Look at where you stand now. Has the answer changed? Because the deepest part of this story is that our bodies carry the scars of battles fought long before we were born. Every one of us is, in a sense, the descendant of survivors. And sometimes a gift in the present is really a message from a catastrophe in the past. So the next time you think of human history as something finished and far away, remember that it is still written inside us in a single locked door that a deadly virus cannot open. D.N.A. says otherwise. One letter changed everything. Discovery continues. If stories like this one stay with you, subscribe and turn on the bell so the next extraordinary mutation finds its way to you. Real science, real people, no miracle cures. Because the most incredible story ever written is the one inside you.